Hey everyone, it's Ryan here. So it's been a few days since I put a video up. Unfortunately, I've not been able to do a Premier League update because it's been international break for football, so it's not back until this weekend. The last video I did was an update on my Xbox Hall of Fame progress, where I was aiming to get 10,000 gamer score between the 1st of October and the 19th of October. So this is basically another update. It's the final update actually because I've managed to complete that. Well, I say final update. I might do one on the 19th, like the day of it ending, just so you can see what my final uh, amount of game score is. But for this month so far, I've got 10,800 gamer score. I'm going to go through some of the games that have helped me with that. I looked up on True Achievements for quick progressions. So some of the games that definitely helped with that, I got about 5,000 game score within like 2 days. What Remains of Edith Finch? It's essentially a walking simulator. Takes about like 2 hours, I guess. Like it's an hour and a half, I think, to finish the story, and then like 15 minutes to go back on certain stuff. The Gardens Between takes between 1 or 2 hours. It's a sort of nice sort of puzzle type game about like basically forwarding, reversing time, making certain things happen. Fractured Minds takes like 10 to 15 minutes. It's like a small indie game made by like one person. Things like Fractured Minds and like What Remains of Edith Finch. I think personally they're not for me because like I think there's meant to be a bigger story about but like depression and like being like accepting yourself for who you are and all this stuff. Um like personally that's not for me because like I think my issue with these games is you don't get too much time to like connect with the character to actually feel any sort of emotion. But like that's just for me. I know a lot of people obviously take it not like taking it seriously, but like it affects them more because they could probably relate to what they're going through. But personally, for me, it's not. I'll be honest with What Remains of Edith Finch. Basically, the story is you go through this entire like family of like the Finch family. They all like die in mysterious ways, and apparently it's part of a family curse. The first few ones just either made me laugh or just made me go, "Well, that's what ignorance gets you." So like the first one's like it's this little girl basically she goes to bed hungry and she starts talking about how like she literally went around ate like her gerbils food. She then like ate a tube of toothpaste, ate berries off this like little uh, bush or whatever that was like growing in her bathroom for some reason. And then I was just sort of like, oh okay, like she probably like starved to death or something because this is what she's writing about. And then next thing you know, she's like, and then I saw a bird outside, opened the window, and now I'm a cat. And then I was like, kept chasing the cat, I ate the bird, and now I'm an owl. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I'm like, I thought that weird combination of food sort of did to her. And then basically gets to the point where she's just a snake, she's eating people, and then the snake makes her way to her bedroom, and then I guess the snake eats her or something. Um, like I said, it's like, I think just for me, with some of them, it was sort of like, I just like personally, I just either found it a bit funny or it was a bit ridiculous. There's one where like um, a guy basically to avoid being killed by the curse, whatever, he hides underground, like under the house. Because basically they all lived in the same house, which they end up dying from. And then turns out like it basically he's lived under there, been eating like 12 o'clock. He's always eating like a tin of peaches or something and basically there's this giant rumbling, so he thinks it's what's going on in the house. Gets to like I think it was like 70 years later or something, and then basically the vibration finally stops, and then it does it again. And he goes, "Oh, it's been a week of not hearing it anymore, so like now's maybe the time I can leave. Like maybe it's over." Um, Basically leaves his bunker, goes up, starts to leave, and as he gets out and looks, he goes, "Oh, I could have a couple of years left. I could have a month left. I could have weeks, maybe even days. But I'm going to make the most of it." And then gets hit by a train. It's like for me that was a bit funny, and then also like the the ending of the story is, "Oh, the train was delayed that day," and I was like, "But you've been under there for a week. Like, what happened in those other days? Like, did it not happen in those days? Like, because basically that's what I picked up from it was, if it's this one particular, like, I would get it if it was like, it was the one day where it doesn't happen, and then he goes to leave, and then it happens. But it's the fact that he stayed in there for another week of it not happening. Like, did he not pick it up happening some other time? Like, they never mentioned anything with it. So yeah, that's basically what confused me about that. Gardens Between. I'll tell you what, I'm going to make this bunch of game reviews whilst I'm at it. Makes it a bit longer, I guess. So Gardens Between, it's a story of, I guess, like two friends, like they're basically two neighbours, and they build a tree house, and then I think some storm happens, and it basically just makes, either it's just in their imagination, which I guess it is, but essentially what happens is you go through levels, solving these puzzles, and there's like nice items, like, it's a very nice game for what it is. Like the whole puzzle solving aspect to it. And as you go on, it starts creating these like correlations, I think it's called, in the sky, you know, all the stars when they make the shapes and all that stuff. And like within them, it's got like memories of them sort of like playing games together, like playing on the seesaw and stuff like that. So basically just, you know, your usual, I guess, like young child stuff. It's like from like maybe like 5 to 12 or whatever. And essentially you start playing through levels, they start getting harder, a bit more complicated, and then there's like more memories and stuff. And then it gets to the last one where it's those two hugging, and you're like, oh, that's nice, you know, like, yeah, it's all come full circle and blah 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 and all this stuff. And then it cut, like the end, basically it cuts to them like back at the house like the morning after, and basically they're both sad because it turns out the boy is actually moving away. So it was sort of like a I'm trying to think what the word is for it, like a little like sort of flashback to good times before the reality of him moving away and then probably not talking to each other again. So yeah, like I quite enjoyed that game. But like I didn't see the fact that the boy was moving away. But yeah, like I said, it was good. Fractured Minds, like I said, it took about 15 minutes. I think the story to it is this girl basically has this nightmare about this like weird big creature thing. Like I think they just call it the thingy or the thing. Basically, she wakes up from it, and then you just go through like 5 or 6 levels. One of them's literally just find the key to open the door. Second one is opening presents, pin the tail on donkey, and then find the key and open the door. I think the hardest one was like, you have to go across the road, and then to unlock the door, you need to find these 4 symbols, and there's basically all these like people walking back and forth, and they've got the symbols on their back, and you have to basically click on them to find them. And then like you get to the last bit, there's like the heart in the middle of the middle of the room. Like you walk all the way down, it's there. You turn back, basically the thing is standing there. There's 4 valves in this room, and it basically, when you walk in the room, it spawns in every corner, and you have to turn the valve that will basically send steam where it is. After 4 of them, you go back to the heart, and then the thing grabs you and holds a mirror up to you, and basically you're the thing. And I think it's meant to be in a way of like accepting what you look like and basically not being scared of what people think of you or something like that. Like I said, for me, it's like, because it was such a short time of it, I just didn't invest myself in it, and like, you know, personally, like I wasn't like majorly affected by it. Like I was like, oh, okay, fair enough, and that was it. Because like I said, it's like, I think with some games you have to sort of invest that time, get to know the character before you can sort of feel attached to them. Like, for example, it's like if I'm watching a series of something, gets towards like the end of the series, this guy shows up, and after like 15 minutes of them just like going, hi, I'm such and such, give a brief backstory, and then gets killed off, it's like I'm not going to feel anything for them because I barely know them. Whereas I've followed the person through the entire series, so if anything happens to them, I'm going to be a bit more annoyed about it. Like especially if I like them as well. You got Tacoma, sort of like another walking, like I think it came out like 2017, about 2017, 2018 was the years of walking simulators, and I think that's why stuff like Fractured Minds and What Remains of Edith Finch and Gone Home and stuff like that, it's like they're basically, you don't do anything, you just walk around, inspect stuff, and you get to the end, there's supposed to be this wholesome message of, or like, basically it's like, it's supposed to be related to anxiety, depression, acceptance, all this stuff. I think like the reason that like it might be another reason why I'm not too fussed by them is because there's so many of them that they all just merge into one for me. And I think for me, like walking simulators, they're good at times, but I think a lot like this was around the time where a lot of them were being made because I can't remember what game it was first, but it was literally because that became so successful, everyone else decided, oh, I'm going to do that. It's sort of like the battle royales nowadays, where, well, I'd say of last year, I think battle royales is starting to slow down a bit, where, like I think Daisy was the first one, but it wasn't like massive. Then PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds came out, that got quite popular. And then Fortnite basically became super popular, and then every other game decided, oh, we're going to do that too. So like Call of Duty started doing it. I think Tetris had their own version of like some battle royale thing now. But yeah, it was literally like, oh, that's successful, so we're all going to do that. And it's like basically just lack of creativity essentially. Yeah, Tacoma is like a sort of walk simulator with a lot of investigation. I guess you go onto this ship and you figure out what happened, and at the end you just leave. And it's like, oh, okay. So that's why, like, after 45 minutes, I was like, okay. It was literally, you go onto this ship, no one's there. You're playing all these, like, archived footage, finding out things about people, and then you find this thing that you're after, and then well, essentially, I think if you just play the game properly, well, I say properly, you can just go in, fast forward all the archive things, find out where you're going, grab what you're after, and then basically just leave. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, it could take, if you like play it like in that sense, it would take like 20 minutes. I think it takes like 2 hours if you're doing everything. Tracks the train set game. I know, childish as it sounds. I actually hesitated playing this before because I was like, I don't know if I want to play this. It takes like 15 minutes to get all the achievements, I would say. I was having fun with it for what it was. Like, there's not much to it, but I like the concept of it, where you essentially build a track and you have to make the train go around, pick people up, and then take them to the station. And then there's like different type of people. So you've got regular pedestrians where it doesn't really matter. You've got businessmen where they have to be there in a certain time. I can't remember what it was, but there's essentially ones where you have to jump 5 times with them. So essentially you can basically just drive the train off the thing and then just reset it. Got the full 1,000 in that. The Little Acre, about 2 to 3 hours. It's basically a story of like this family where I think so. One of them's the dad, one of them's the daughter, and then you got the dog. The dad's gone missing, and basically it turns out he created like some sort of portal in his shed. It's like a point and click thing, similar to another game that I'll bring up in a minute. I thought it was fine for what it was. Like, it was a nice thing where like you go in the portal and like your character's completely different. I think like by the end you find out your dad / granddad has been killed by this person called Mer, who's this like blue creature. Basically, he wants this glove to be able to come to Earth, and apparently the reason he's going to Earth is because his people live better there than they do in this planet where he's from. Eventually he gets there. Essentially, he sucks all the energy out of, or like the life energy or whatever, out of the dad and the dog, and then the little girl comes back through, and she basically tricks him because she uses this like little portal thing to basically, and like this hallucinogenic gas from this monster, to basically go, oh, look, your entire family's here. So he goes to go in the portal, gets eaten essentially. They come back to life. They accept that their granddad's gone. And then they just carry on with their lives. So that was something. Yeah, like I said, it was fun for what it was. There's not really much to it, to be honest. I think the only issue I had was there's a lot of back and forth between the characters. It's like you walk for like 15 seconds with one character, and then the second you go through the same sector, you're back to being the other character. It's like you're literally just swapping all the time. It's a bit of a nuisance sometimes. Team Sonic Racing, I've got a few achievements in it. I'm not going to go too much into the only reason I went a bit more detail with the other ones is because I got the full 1,000 in them. Some of the others, I'm just going to, like, if I haven't, I'm just going to briefly go over them. So Team Sonic Racing, I've just carried on with the story, got a few achievements that way. F1 2019, I figured out that I could just start a new career, apply for the other teams, and then just cancel out the career without having to lose all my progress to get the achievements for signing with different teams. Other than that, I've only got like a couple of online ones left to do. Celeste, I've got the full 1000. Sorry if I'm starting to sound a bit bugged up. I've actually not long got up. It's about the fact is currently just got the 6 in the morning. My sleep pattern's all over the place. Celeste. I'll be honest, I'm trying to remember what it's about. It's a platformer game where you essentially have to get through the levels. There's like strawberries and stuff to collect. You can find like a bee tape and like crystal heart. Essentially, Celeste, her abilities are like climbing walls, and she has like this air dash, and you can only do it like once unless you hit certain things, which lets you do it again. I kind of cheated through it. There's an assist mode where you can turn on invincibility, infinite dashes, and all this stuff. And I just did that because I'll be honest, I just wanted to get through the game as quickly as possible. And like when you get to later levels, it is so like I read some of the reviews and it's like you get to the last levels and like the B-side levels and it's beyond like impossible for some people. So I was like, if I could just get the full 1000, I will. I enjoyed it for what it was. Essentially, she's trying to climb this mountain. Don't know what for. And then you get like halfway through, she goes into this hotel, sees this mirror, and there's her dark reflection, which I guess is meant to be her mind or something. Basically telling her she can't do it, she should turn away, she should do all this. But she pushes on. At one point, she gets up to the mountain, but then falls off. And then as you're getting up a bit later on, I think she sort of tries to convince like she accepts that she has to work with her darker self. Like she can't do it alone. Like she has to put that doubt in her mind like away or something, but basically bring out the positivity in her and believe that she can do it. And then eventually she does. Yeah, like I said, I thought it was fun for what it was. Like I said, I think with like the infinite dashes and stuff like that, it made it so much quicker. Like I said, I thought it was fun for what it was. FIFA 21, I basically had a 10-hour trial for it. I've only got 10 achievements for 225 game score. I had about 4 hours of the trial left and I fell asleep, so I wasted those 4 hours, unfortunately. I'm probably going to wait for it to come down in price before I actually buy it. I don't want to spend like 60 quid on it. And then with EA Play coming to Games Pass, maybe like half a year later, they'll put it on there so I can play from there. Golf with your friends, I've got like 3 achievements on there. I've only got like 2 left to get. They're for like getting par or below in certain games. It's mini golf, there's not much to talk about. Slayaway Camp Butcher's Cut. This was free with gold this month, and it's essentially a puzzle game where it's sort of like the murderers. So basically, you play the murderer in like horror movies. A lot of it is like the joke of the thing is sleepaway camp, but a majority of it is taking the mick out of like Friday the 13th. And it's nice because as you level up, you get like different versions of him, and then like different versions of other characters as well. I had a lot of fun with this one. Like I used a guide to get through it because, like I said, I want to get through it as quickly as possible. But essentially, the character sort of works like it's on an ice rink. So if you basically push to the right, he'll go all the way to the right rather than just step once. And it's essentially to like murder all the like people that are there, whilst like avoiding SWAT teams and cops and stuff like that. So basically, cops, it's like they have a target in front of them, and basically you can't land on there or they'll kill you. And then there's like other things you can work into it. So if you basically land right next to where they are, the character will get scared and like run all the way to the side. So you can basically run them into stuff. I had a lot of fun with it. You got like there's space. There's obviously the camp. There's I think like in an office somewhere. Like one of them is literally just the pissed off like CEO or something. Like that's who the murderer is. It's quite funny. The Book of Unwritten Tales 2, this one took me the longest. I think it took me about a week or so. I think this is definitely what slowed me down a bit when it came to the achievements, which is why I wasn't getting as many. It took me about a week. It could have took me a few days, but I think just because with how long and the fact it was point and click, I sort of had to take it in bits. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think I could have cut it down, but the guide I was following, he let all the dialogue play out, so I think that's why I was a bit about it. The way it ends, it sort of hints at 3, but this came out like 5 years ago, so maybe, who knows. Sniper Elite 4, I got a few achievements in that, mainly just for like killing a amount of enemies with like the sidearm and the pistol and stuff like that. I need to get back into finishing the rest of the story. World War Z, I've got 635 game score at 1,000. A friend of mine basically wanted me to play it with them, so I did. I've actually found it a lot of fun. It's very similar to Left 4 Dead. Obviously not as good as Left 4 Dead, but there was promise there, but I think it just didn't live up too much to that expectation. Prohibition Soccer 2009, I've been playing that upstairs on my 360. Done all the Master League achievements. I've just got to do the Be a Legend achievements. So basically when you... But essentially, it's like with FIFA, it's the like Be a Player mode, where you just play as a singular player. Action Henk, 200... No, I've got 200 there. I already had some games. I've only got a couple of achievements in that. So... Obliter Racers, I finished off. It's essentially like a kart racer game. Basically found out I could get a couple of achievements in that. I believe Hotshot Racing I started this month. I think they just added to Games Pass. Never mind, I started that in September. Ignore me. But yeah, like that's pretty much where a majority of my achievements have come from. So I'll go over the ones which have been the big ones for me. So Gears 5, I've got a few. What Remains of Edith Finch, I got 1,000. Gardens Between, I got 1,000. Fractured Minds, I got 1,000. Tacoma, I got 1,000. Tracks, the train set game, I got 1,000. Little Acre, I got 1,000. So that's 6,000 right there. Celeste got 1,000. So that's 7,000. Slayaway Camp is 8,000. World War Z is 635. Where's it gone? Did I talk about Book of Unwritten Tales too? I don't think so. There. Book of Free. So basically, I got like 9,000 through like completing games, 635 through like World War Z, and then the other like 1,200 or so has been through just like playing other various games. But yeah, so basically, this video has just been a ton of quick game reviews of like quick hour to 2 hour games. I looked up on True Achievements and they basically just put, oh, for Xbox Hall of Fame, if you're looking for quick completions in Games Pass, here you go. And literally every game, somehow, I had not played yet. So I had the benefit of that. Yeah, so basically this video is just saying that I've completed the whole Xbox Hall of Fame thing. Like, I've got at least 10,000 gamer score. I think like if you get 10,000 or above, it sort of puts you within the thing to at least be entered for it. If I don't win it, fair enough. There's probably someone else that's got a lot more than me. I have been investing quite a lot of time in NBA 2K20 lately because there's one achievement I want to get. It like I might not end up getting it because it's so ridiculous, but I'm going to try. Yeah, and then it's also been like just a few game reviews, but yeah, like I said, I went on a bit of a tangent, but that kind of happens for me. I'll start talking about one thing, something will come to mind, and then I'll go off and talk about that, and then try and bring myself back around to what I was talking about. But yeah, so basically just making this video say that I've completed the Xbox Hall of Fame challenge. I finished it yesterday, so essentially I have 6 days spare. We're now 5 days, so yeah, I'll see if I can get like any more. I'll probably like aim for like 12,500, but I'm gonna try and focus on some of the games that I want to as well. Like I might play some of the games in my actual backlog that I've actually not played yet. I think that's sort of the main issue is like the games that I own. A lot of them, it takes forever to get to the 1,000. Or it requires like several playthroughs, which will take days or weeks. But yeah, so basically that's the video for you. I hope you've enjoyed it for whatever excuse of a video it is. My ramblings about video games and stuff like that. But yeah, basically just let you know that I've finished the Hall of Fame challenge and I hope to get it, but like I said, if I don't, then fair enough. There's a lot of other people out there that, especially now with lockdown, they've had plenty more time to actually do stuff. Yeah, thank you very much for watching this video, and I shall hopefully see you in the next one. Right, bye.